Welcome back. This is Dan Havey with CF Ninja Hacks, and today we're going to answer Carol's question here. She was wondering how in the OFA it was, so the one funnel away training is how was it that they got the order form to look like it does here, because normally on an order form bump, let me see here, I think she had the other one in here, normally looks like this. Or if you change it, which I'll show you in a minute, it even looks even worse than that. How did Trey get it to look like this? Now, if I'm not mistaken in the training, he does say that he did have some dev guys come in here for him and change this out so it would look different. So let me show you how you can do this yourself. It's a couple of lines of CSS code and some settings you have to do inside of ClickFunnels, but it's pretty straightforward. So let's take a look. First off, and what the outcome is that I came up with. And so mine looks pretty close to what Trey had over here. And so I'm going to stick with that. And you can change the font sizes. You can change the margin and stuff in here a little bit on the fly. You can get rid of this border around there. I guess we can see how that looks as we go forward. But the first thing you want to make sure you do is come into your product itself, and we'll see if we can get this page to load up. So here's the product I used for my order bump. And you want to make sure you come in here and you set the description. Normally you'll come in, you'll set a product name, but maybe you won't set the description. Well, I didn't set the description when I originally set up this product. And because of it, as I started working with it inside of the code, I realized that the element really didn't populate itself, and so therefore I couldn't change it anywhere else. Now, I may be wrong about that because I changed a bunch of settings, but if anything, just come in here, put a description in here, and then we're going to actually change it somewhere else so that it shows up properly on the page. So the next thing we want to do is to come into the editor, and right now if we have the product set in like you normally would, is going to be like this. Here's our order bump down here at the bottom. So it would normally look something like this, and so that's what our settings reflect right here. So let's just bounce out of here for a second and click anywhere essentially where you don't have the orange add element on here to open this up, and we're going to come over here and we're going to go to our product select, and we are going to select our products. Now here's the main product for this order form, but if you click on this you can also set an order bump, and all you do there is you just add a product, and then we're just going to pick any old product here. We'll pick Danny's hot sauce right there as our product, and then you can say here by clicking on the gear, you can say we want this to be an order bump. So product is an order bump. Don't bother filling in the title or the pre-headline here. I found that actually they don't appear to be working properly, at least for what we're doing. And then it'll show up down here at the bottom. So here's the one I have set that we are going to use. So essentially all you need to do is tick that box right there. And then we will get rid of this one because we don't need two order bumps for our example. So here we got our product set. And again, this was under product select right there. But you can do the exact same thing under order bumps. You can come down here and we can go here now, edit our products. Now, why are both of them still stuck in there? I don't know. We can come in here and get exactly the same thing as when we set up our products. And don't worry about this one right there for now. It's not there. But we can change around in here a couple of things. So we had our classic and then we have our modern. And we put in the modern and you can see that doesn't look very good. So we're going to go back to starting with our classic because I apply the code to the classic settings, so make sure you apply it to that. On here, we have a border around here that is colored. Let's see what we can do. Let's get rid of the color on that. Now that I don't see anywhere to, let's just make it the same as the background, and we'll take that out of there. That's one of the limitations in here is you can set a border, but you can't set a border size. You can set text in here, but you can't set a text size. You also can't set any of the margins or padding in here either, so there are limitations on what you can do with this. But what you want to do next is you want to set up, oh, here's another thing, let me just show you this real quick, is this little arrow right there, which is what they had in the original. Now, for me personally, I would just take that out of there. I'll leave it in for now, but you can come over here and click on none. It takes it out. for what we're doing here. It looks better, I think. We do that. You can also turn off the images if you want. I don't know why you would. And you can completely turn off the bump styling as well, which again, in our case here, would kind of defeat the purpose. So we have this here, got the border out of there now. And so we are going to save this. And what we can do then is we can preview this page. Now, I'm going to show you some of the fancy stuff on how we get around to doing what we're doing. But then in the end, I will show you the code on how to get this set up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come into this element right here, and we're going to click on it, and we're going to click on it and then say inspect. Now that I look at it, maybe it does need a little bit of a border around here. So maybe we should come back in and let's put that border color back in there, what we had, which I think was probably the same as all the rest of the border colors. Let's just go here to our style guide. Is it that same color? Must be. Okay, but we still have a little bit too much thickness. I'd like to have it more like the thickness of this, so we'll have to take a look at that in the CSS itself. So now let's save this. We'll come over, we'll refresh the page, and yes, you probably see a cat right below me trying to sneak onto the page with us, or sneak onto the page, sneak onto my desk. And let's close, let's actually put this on the left-hand sidebar. Bring this over. We will reinspect this element again. And so here we have the elements. So the first thing we need to do, slide this over. First thing we need to do is get this to line up one on top of each other. So in the code, and like I said, I will show you the actual code at the end here. We can come over here and you see these little series of little boxes down here. Next to it, it says display flex. What we want to do is we want to change that to display in column format. So you got the image setting on top of the text. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is come into the image. So we're going to come down a couple lines here. We're going to click on this image, and you're going to see right here, it says max width 80 pixels. Well, we don't want that. So actually in this case here, in the editor, we're just going to turn that off. In the code, we have to put in the value here of unset, and that will turn it off. And then we have to come down to the image itself. Let me see, I forget here. Is it this level or is it this level? Again, here we got the max height of 80%. So we're going to turn that off, and it made it bigger, but it did not make it full size on the screen here. So let me pause for a second and figure out why that is. Okay, so I'm not actually sure why it is doing that. We'll see if it keeps doing that after we apply the actual code, because it was not doing that before. As you saw on this one here, it was all the way out to the edges. So we will keep moving forward for now. And so then we have this all set up. And then in here, so I had the text. Now, actually, I don't think I showed you that text thing. So let's go back over here, come to our Ferrari one. Let's go to the edit text. And this is where I put in the text that shows on the screen here. So that's where you put it. You don't put it at the level of the product. You have to put something in here at the level of the product. You don't put it in when you set up the product inside of here where you click on edit products. You can leave this blank, but where you need to change it then is where you edit the text when you're coming in here and setting up what you want your order bump to look like. So you're going to change it right here at this level. You can make it bold, italics. You can turn it into a hyperlink. You can change the color, but again, unfortunately, you can't change the text size in there. It'd be nice if they put that in. And so then we got that. Let me see what else is there. That's pretty much it. So we're going to make the image bigger. We are going to change the text, and then we're going to change the text size with a little bit of CSS. So now let's go into that code and let's open that up and see what it looks like. So we'll go here to our CSS code, and you see here I have it turned off at this point. In fact, let me open this up a slightly different way. We're going to show the code, and can I scroll this up any further? Nope, I cannot. So let's just go back in here and turn the code back on. And so what we got here is, let me turn this on. What we're saying here is at the product level, at the level of the order bump here, that's where we did that flex column. So instead of everything being side by side, it's going to stack the image on top of the rest of the text. And then I say here, info container, we need that to be 10 pixels. So what that does is it puts 10 pixels of margin right here. You can make that 10, 20, 30, or whatever number you want to put in there for the number of pixels of margin right there. And then we got the font size of the headline of 20 pixels and the subtext or description of 16 pixels. So this here is 20 pixels. That there is 16 pixels. And I guess I probably should do something about the price over here as well. And then let's look at the bottom. This here's we got the max width unset. So on the product image element and then the image itself, we unset the max width and max height, and then that allows it to go all the way out to the edge. But like I said, let's do something about this $9 there. So let's take this. We will click on that to find the actual element, and then we come up here, we take a look. So this right here, L product card price container, we'll just double click on that. We'll come back over into here, and that was the same. We probably want that to be the same font size as the VIP headline. So we can just come in here and we're going to put a comma. We're going to hit return. We're going to put in a period. We're going to paste in that price container. Now that will also be 20 pixels. And then what else did we want to do? We wanted to get rid of or make this border here much skinnier. So let's take a look at that and we will inspect that. How did my whatever close here? So we got to kind of look around here to see where we are at. So probably right here is what has the border on it. Nope, I'm not seeing a border here. L product list. Oh, wait, no, here we go. I wasn't up far enough. Nope, that's not giving me a border. So we'll come down here. Does this give me a border? Nope. That's what you got to have to do sometimes. You got to come down here and be looking in this box right down here to see where that border exists. I'm still not seeing a border, and it's not there. Okay, let me pause for a second. Okay, so I found the element here. It's L product layout border right there, and I already changed it. It's got kind of an interesting way that they're calculating the border width here, but what I found is if I just put in here, this had been ×3 right there, and you see it's much bigger. I'll put in 30, but we can just take that down to ×1, and then that will make it thin like this. Again, you can change the color if you don't like the exact color on that. You can change that right inside of the element itself, so I don't need to show you that again. And so let's change it inside the element itself. So what I'm going to do then here is we will just copy, and come up here. It's easier to do it this way. We will copy that, and we'll come back into our CSS over here, and let me see, that was the image, description. I always like to keep everything in the same order that it was. Info container, I think it would probably be about right here is where we should have this. So we'll put that in, put in a period first to signify that it's a class. Then we will put in our curly brackets there. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to copy this entire bit right there, and we're going to paste that then in right here. There you go. Looks just fine. Let's save this, and then let us reload this page, and let's see what it looks like. And here we are now. We have the full width image. Like I said, I don't know why that image wasn't showing upright, but I see here that the border did not come out right. I put that in there, got turned off. So in this case here, what we need to do, let me go back here and show it to you because I went through it so fast. Here is what was in there originally, right here. Let's just highlight that. And so I copied that, put it into mine, and here you see down here now this CSS rule right here, okay? But you see this is lined out. The reason why that's lined out is because this one up here is taking precedent over this one down here lower. That's why this one gets crossed out. But what we can do is come in here, and I will do it actually in the code in a second, and we put in the tag of it's an exclamation mark and then the word important. And we'll hit tab. Now what it did is now this one overrides the one up above it. The one above it is now crossed through, and you see it did it right here on the page itself. So we just got to come back over here, and these ones down here at the bottom where we were unsetting the max width, that had the same problem. And so we just put that in there. Now it says important. We will save the page. We will reload it. And there we go. So now it cleaned it up very nicely, and it looks much, much more like what they had here, even though I do see here they did have the wider border, and it's almost a greenish color. So however you would like to have that border, if you don't want to make it skinnier like I did right here, just take out this bit right in there. Just delete it out of the code. Otherwise, all of this code here I will put in the post in Facebook to show you exactly how to do it. And if you got any questions, just let me know.